we're going to be talking about Regulation F's tier list. Let's start off by putting the most obvious threats in the top tier. Obviously, we're going to talk about each one of those in a moment, but let's first clearly put them out here. Calyrex Shadow. I really feel like I shouldn't have to explain why this thing is busted, but I guess I will anyway. Calyrex Shadow has two abilities. It's basically got Unnerve plus a Beast boost. And this thing is absolutely absurd. One of the few ways to deal with it is, like, probably Trick Room. But other than that, it's, like, very hard to counter. Just simply due to the fact that it go burr. Gets Expanding Force, use that with Indeedee, and it just stacks. It snowballs and snowballs until you can't kill it anymore. And you can't even Sucker Punch if you have Indeedee out because terrain. So you gotta change the terrain. It's very hard to play around. It is a very busted Pokemon. It does not feel fair in a lot of situations. It's just overall very busted. Even gets Nasty Plot. It's got Disable. It's got everything Mewtwo does, but infinitely better. Look at these stats. 150 base speed, plus 165 special attack. Why? It's like, just look at Mewtwo. What is this? Why would you ever use Mewtwo? So, that's unfortunately why we're going to be putting Mewtwo in the F-No tier. Or actually, no, let's put him in E. Let's just put him in E. He's bad. F-No goes to Cosmog, Cosmoem, Unfused Kirem, and Unfused Necrozma because... and also Unfused Calyrex. Don't use any of these. Whatever you do, just don't touch these. Don't touch them at all. Don't put these on your team. We have this thing at top tier because it's just absolutely ridiculous. Then next we have the new Terapagos, because Terapagos is one of the few things that can actually deal with Calyrex, due to the fact that it is immune to the Astral Barrage, but unfortunately it is not immune to the, the Expanding Horse, if you will. But it's still very tanky and deals with a lot of the stuff. The other way to wall or deal with Calyrex is mostly by going with Wide Guard support, which is probably just going to see a lot of play. We'll see. I still think this thing's pretty S tier. It hits pretty hard. The boosted Terra Stall. Yeah, you're back. All right. Yeah, the boosted Terra just does a lot from the Terra Star Storm and everything else it does, since it doesn't actually ruin Terra Stellar. It's like the only Pokemon that makes Terra Stellar actually good in this format. So, yeah, that's that thing. Obviously, the other next threats are going to be Miraidon, as it is the only good electric terrain setter, and it's going to bring Iron Hands back, give a lot of the, future Paradox Mons more time in the sun. And speaking of sun, you basically have Koraidon and Groudon, which are basically the same role, more or less, just one's tankier and one is faster. So, I mean, they more or less fill the same role, but they're both going to be very good. Just because Orichalcum Pulse is going to make Koraidon hit like a truck. And Groudon's just good because it just doesn't have to worry about getting hit by Electro Drift or other things. But both of them I feel like are going to be S tier. Like, people are going to choose between them. And the last S tier Mon I'm going to say is Kyogre. Everyone's like, Kyogre not good, Kyogre bad. Nah, I still think Kyogre's goated. Kyogre's still amazing, and if you're not prepared for it, you're screwed. Of course, you do need to know how to actually play Kyogre for it to be good in this format. Like, before it was more mindless. Now you actually have to play around, this, and also that. But, yeah. Hello. And now we also have to go over... Alright, so let's go over what's A tier. I think A tier. Believe it or not, I believe, like we said, I feel like these are actually going to be pretty good. Ho-Oh, the only reason I'm a little hesitant to put Ho-Oh into A tier is because you know, just... I don't know. But before we do that, let's just go back and look at Groudon really quickly, just like, you know, as a basic idea. Like, Groudon has a few different methods. You could go Precipice Blades, this could be Leftovers, it could be Assault Vest, it could be whatever. Groudon's very versatile. Sets up the sun, helps the, you know, the past Paradox Mons. Kyogre, I feel like Choice Scarf Kyogre and Choice Specs Kyogre are gonna suck, because you have things like, you know, Ogre Pond everywhere. But I feel like Mystic Water is still gonna be pretty good. It could, like, one-shot a lot of stuff, so it's still very good. And then you have Koraidon and Miraidon. Let's say Flare Blitz, like we said, Flare Blitz. You could do Swords Dance, you could do Breaking Swipe, Ability, not Ability Shield, Clear Amulet, and just Protect here. This thing, I mean, again, it's basically just faster Groudon. That's more or less the idea. And Koraidon, I mean, Miraidon, I have a few different things in mind. This is one of the many. You could do Terra Fairy, Terra Steel for Flash Cannon boost, whatever. Let's go back here. Too much. Under stream saying Alola. Yeah. Yes. So let's talk about the A tier now. Rain isn't really enabling a lot of Mons, like Sun is. More than you'd think. Come on, you still got Urshifu. Nah, I still think Kyogre's S tier. Kyogre, I mean, like, look, Kyogre really could go, like, in S tier. It's gonna be at the bottom of S tier, right? Like, it's gonna be at, like, because clearly it's not as major as it was in prior years. Like, before, like, Kyogre would have been, like, over here. I feel like Kyogre's, like, low S tier. And then we are going to talk about A tier now. So A tier, I'm going to say Rayquaza. Normally, Rayquaza wasn't that great in prior restricted formats, unless it had, like, Mega Evolution, but now it actually has access to Terra Normal, Choice Band, Extreme Speed. That's right, it is basically just Dragonite with another whole few more points in attack. It's slightly better Dragonite, but it also gets Airlock, which can shut down a lot of the weather shenanigans if that's bothering you. So, I mean, it's still good. I'd say it's still, like, it's about as good as Dragonite, but, like, probably slightly better. The only reason Ho-Oh has a few issues is because, of course, you have to deal with the Intimidates, but because it's got Regenerator and the fact that you might have to switch it out, or you could even just choose not to go for like the whole switching out thing. You just go for what do you call it? Like where's the Clear Amulet? I'd say, like, just like Clear Amulet the bird. Let's see, like Flare Blitz. What do you? No, not Flare Blitz. Sacred Fire. Sorry, Sacred Fire. Brave Bird. You also get dual Wing Beat, which is also, like, a possibility. Like, you do, like, dual Wing Beat. You can do... oh, God. What else does it get? I mean, it's got Recover. So that's something. Will-O-Wisp. I don't know. I still haven't really seen what we can do with the bird yet. I'm not really sure. I want to, like, put in, like, A or B. But it feels about as good as, like, Rayquaza is. But not entirely. It's definitely tankier. Like, I'll tell you what. It's definitely, like, very tanky. It's got 154. Right? It's a tanky bird. Like, even if you decide to do, like, Assault Vest, like, that'd make it go crazy, but the problem is that it's still only got, like, 90 base defense. So, like, against stuff like Groudon and Koraidon, it's probably going to struggle a bit. Certainly, against some other things, but, I don't know, it's figure A or B tier, I'm not sure yet, though. Lugia, unfortunately, is not very good. I'm probably going to put it next to Mewtwo, but, like, a little bit before, because that at least better than Mewtwo. Lugia's only real shtick is like weakness policy procking. It really doesn't do anything. I mean, it's got like Aeroblast. It's got Earth Power. I mean, if it's still got Psycho Boost, it'd be decent, but no. God forbid we should be allowed to keep our Shadow Lugia attacks. I don't really know, like, what you would do with this thing. It's not bad. It's just not good. The main problem is that Lugia hits like a wet noodle. Like, it's tanky. So, like, yeah, you need the weakness policy proc. You'd also just but, like, the whole problem is, like, see, like, Lugia has, like, this similar issue to Mewtwo in that it's now outclassed entirely by, Terrapagos, which basically does, like, the whole Combine setup crap with the Earth Power. I mean, it's basically the same on just a bit better. I don't know. They're both pretty bad. Moving on. I'm not using you just simply due to the fact that they ruined you. But other than that, the boost you get isn't really that beneficial. Regular Dialga, I'm also probably going to put, like, in the same tier as Origin. But I feel like Palkia, Origin... The only thing that sucks about Palkia Origin is that it misses everything, which is why I keep saying, like, they should give it Gravity as, like, a field effect. So, like whenever you send out Dialga, Trick Room. Whenever you send out Palkia, Gravity. I don't know why they don't do it. They should, but they don't. Palkia also regularly, I feel like nobody's going to use this one without, you know... I don't know, just Palkia feels like it needs to have the Lustrous Orb for, like, that boost in speed and power. I don't know, it's more the speed than anything. I would put it in, like, I guess C or B tier. I'm not sure yet, though. Giratina, unfortunately, is not that great, but I feel like with Terra, it, like, might be able to do something. I'm not entirely sure, though. They both need work. Reshiram, I'm actually going to probably put in C tier. Probably because, like, it's actually decent, especially, like, as an Assault Vest user. Like, right, like, you could do, a lot of fun, like, Assault Vest shenanigans. Do you get Snarl? You don't. What's, like, a good, like, fourth move for you? I don't know. Like, I mean, you just do Terra Blast, you can do Weather Ball. It's got some stuff. I'm not really sure, though. I mean, its main thing is Assault Vesting. It really doesn't do anything else. Like, there's very few reasons to use this over, like, I don't know, just anything, really. It's not that good. This thing, you're bad. Like, I'm sorry, just, like, if you want to use Zekrom, go ahead, do it, but you're losing your mind if you think it's, like, why would you not just use the better Electric Dragon at this point? I think Kyurem B actually has a lot of potential. Kyurem Ice, I mean, like, why Kyurem has a lot of potential? Because it's going to be a lot like the Articuno that recently won the thing, so you got the cold one with the boys. Kyurem White, though, is, in my opinion, obviously, and not just my opinion, but, like, just factually the better Kyurem. A, because it doesn't have to deal with all the constant, like, Insins and Intimidators all over the place, because it's a special attacker, but also because it gets boosted Blizzards. Now, you pair this with a, Ninetales. Watch the magic go. Also the Assault Vest, and just... It's going to tank hits. It's good. This thing looks actually decent in snow now. So I would actually put you in B tier. The only reason I'm putting you so, like, lower than A is because you're still, like, half ice type, and Urshifu is still probably everywhere. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, you could move up to A, but you're at least B tier. Kyurem Black, unfortunately, I'm probably gonna have to put in, like, bottom C or, like top D tier. I mean, it basically functions like Excalibur on drugs, but it's not that good. Like, just use this one if you're gonna use one. If you're gonna use, like here, just use the white one, because the white one can Blizzard spam, and this thing can just Icicle Spear, I guess. Moving on to the Alolamons. We got the cat. I'm gonna put all of these actually equally in B tier. Actually, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna put Lunala. This is a hot take. I'm putting Lunala in A tier. I'll tell you why. Lunala actually gets Wide Guard, which deals with a lot of this meta's threats. You have these 4, all have spread moves. Mostly these 3 are the big problems, right? Astral Barrage, Expanding Force, Terra Starstorm spam, and Water Spout, Origin Pulse spam. So you got those 3. Lunala and Necrozmane, or Necroz Wings in this case, both get Wide Guard. Now, they're going to be good Trick Room on, so if you want to use them as an alternative to, say, this thing, which I still think is also A tier. I'm going to put this, like, at the top of A tier, actually, because it's not as good as Calyrex Shadow, in my opinion, but it's a good answer to it. It's a very good answer to it, but it's not as good. But it's still very good. And these are alternatives to that are also going to be answers to this. So I feel like these are actually going to be pretty good, and they also do a similar thing to this, but like, I guess, on a special form. And then we have this thing. This is... I don't know how I feel about, you know, Necrozmane in this format. Like, I really haven't thought of it much. I feel like, I don't know, like, maybe with, like, Terra Steel... What do you get? Sunsteel Strike? Okay, you get Sunsteel. That actually could be pretty good. A boosted Sunsteel Strike and, like, the ability to get less damage. And if you pair that with a... yeah, you know, pair that with a Clear Amulet to get back Necrozma's actual ability. So you basically pair it with Necrozma having the ability to not have your stats dropped, along with the Prism Armor from Necrozma. That's actually not bad. Actually pretty decent now that I'm thinking about it. Like, I might actually cook with this. Like, this actually seems like it might actually go somewhere. You got Photon Geyser. You can do Swords Dance, like Photon Geyser, Swords. Like, what else do you get? Knockoff, not bad. I feel like this thing's actually going to be pretty decent. Like, I should, like, really look into this one. I'm going to actually put this one... I'm going to actually move this one up, because I feel like it's just a direct... I mean, again, you could run... I don't know how you would really run Solgaleo in this situation. Maybe with Choice Band or an Assault Vet. I don't know. I feel like... Well, this thing actually doesn't really have to bother with the Clear Amulets. You could go Assault Vest. You go Assault Vest. What else do you get? Not really sure. We'll think about that. We'll come back to that. For now, they're going to be in about B tier, but they have the potential to move up to A. I don't know. I'm going to say B tier, though. Zacian. Zacian's not going to be as relevant, as relevant as it was in former tiers. I'm actually thinking, like, it might not even actually be A tier. Like, I'm considering just putting this at, like, top of B. Like, the only real thing it's good at is dealing with Fluttermane, which is still a huge thing. Like, I'm like torn, like, bottom A or top B. Like, I don't know, like, one of these. For now, I'm gonna put you at the top of B. Zamazenta. I gave it a lot of crap. I'm actually putting it at the bottom of B tier. I gave it a lot of crap for not being that good. It's actually a lot better than I thought it is. It's probably gonna be pretty good because for the same reasons that like Lunala, that I put Lunala and you know, Necroz's wings in A. This thing also gets wide guard. Now, it's not as popular as a pick, in my opinion, and it's like not, I don't know, maybe like, I still have to see how the meta develops. For now, I'm saying somewhere in B tier, maybe A tier. I could be wrong. Bone Dragon. I don't know how I feel about Eternatus, honestly. Maybe like paired with Wochen, like Moxie Boosted is doing. So like maybe I'm gonna put you in like C tier. These obviously don't use them. And that's pretty much how this is kind of gonna go. I'm not entirely sure of like what's gonna be better. Like some of these can move up, some of this might move up, some of this might move down. But yeah, that's more or less my thoughts on the matter. I'm mostly scared of dealing with a lot of Calyrex on the ladder, but there are answers. I'm sure the meta will develop and we will figure things out. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to go and lab some new teams.